Welcome, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Journeymen podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
Start your engines. Okay. So, what is up, Fantasy Football Journeymen fans? We are coming to you on a beautiful little Saturday. Coming back to Bobby and Amber's dojo over here. Obviously, as you can see on the screen here, we have a special guest. We have Sir Bronson. Give a little howdy do.
Hi, guys.
He's been a panelist before. Really enjoyed him and his brother coming on that one time. So,
Yeah,
return panelist.
Return guest is great. We definitely enjoy that.
Thank you.
I am coming in just a touch too loud. So we're going to...
How's it feel to be in a champ sandwich? Because I'm a champ. You're a champ.
Okay, let's just get into it right away. Bronson is the winner of the 3-penis wine. I'll give you one on this. Don't leave me hanging.
And this is the one where Ryan forgot to set his lineup prior to the playoffs.
Regardless, I played a running back that got negative points and I still won.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wanted to hear the other side of that equation.
Yeah,
okay.
I was gonna say I don't remember the specifics of your actual championship, like who played when or whatever. I just think though that you were kind of. I got the inclination after the first round that it was like, well, Bronson kind of has like the best team available, or of the rest of the guys. Anybody else, you kind of would be surprised if they won. You'd be like, oh, they had a great week and they ended up coming through. So,
good point. I definitely had a lot of upside on my team.
Yes, a lot of upside.
I guess if you had to put like maybe 2 or 3, athletes on your team.
Who's your MVP?
I'd say MVPs. Like who brought you there and who kept you, going?
See, that's tough because, I had Gus Edwards who had like 2 touchdowns for like 5 weeks straight.
Mm-hmm.
I had traded for DK and he got like a couple touchdowns here and there. I had Fields. I mean, when Fields was on and he was balling, he did put up some points. Other than that, it was very like up and down like a roller coaster. But
you came alive in the playoffs and stayed alive.
Exactly. And like I said, with the whole upside is that I had guys on teams that literally had to play, even though like there was like people like for example like a Baltimore team, like Lamar's gonna sit, Mark Andrews got injured or.
It's right around that week 17 is the championship week, and there's a couple teams that they're like, hey, this guy's injured. We don't really need to play them, so they're going to sit him or whatever. I would say, honestly, dude, I'll give at least a little bit of props. If you remember, we actually drafted together.
Yeah.
And I gave you a ton of shit for drafting Fields when you did. Ends up coming right back in my face, though. You're champion, so... I'll give you a salute on that. Nice job.
I was projected last, by the way.
Projections mean all of
I don't give it too much
shit.
credit. Is that the ESPN possibly, like how you're drafted? I think they give gradings and where you're projected, whatever. I wasn't projected that well either.
The projections don't mean anything in my mind, like in terms of those draft grades, because every single time I'm getting a draft grade of like C+, and then I'm like, these guys actually turn out to be pretty decent throughout the year, so... I don't look too much into that. But, again, we got to acknowledge it up top. This is the
Thank you.
fantasy football podcast, so we got to obviously bring in more champions, each week. So we're watching Baltimore-Houston right now. I'm just going to start off with some Woj's wagers here. Nice fake reverse. Fake on the double reverse.
I got to get let's get our phones out.
Yep, so I'm just going to run through... Real quick, I got just a quick one. I got Lamar Jackson over 50.5 rushing yards. C.J. Stroud 225 passing. 2 touchdowns for C.J. Stroud. 4 catches Dalton Schultz. 80.5 yards Nico Collins. 40.5 yards receiving Isaiah Likely. So, just kind of I don't think these are unattainable, but the game has to flow definitely towards scoring points. It's got to be probably like a 28-24 game at least. But
it's
that's
widespread.
Yeah. What you guys got? Go.
I'll go. I got the spread on Houston Texans, which is 9.5. C.J. Stroud over 225. Isaiah Likely for 40-plus yards. and Schultz anytime touchdown. So that's for my game. And if I have just a prop bet, if Houston defense returns a touchdown or defensive touchdown, that pays out pretty nicely as well.
Okay. That was a terrible call on third down.
So,
Bronson, what you got?
So just this whole weather going across America, I just kept it simple. So I just did a couple touchdown parlays.
Okay. Who you
So I
got?
did Gus Edwards for 2 and then Lamar for 2.
Okay. And who got the first one for Baltimore?
that was Algahor.
Yeah.
Al Galore.
I can't pronounce it.
It's all right. We don't pronounce shit on this correct here. But you know what? This is really, in my mind, like this weekend and the next weekend, like Super Bowl bets and stuff like that, I expect the game to go one way and then it doesn't. Like that, New England-Atlanta game. Like you couldn't have written that like almost like a movie writer. Like that was almost so like beautifully written that like obviously a betting guy, you're like, oh yeah, are they going to score 0 points in the second half? Like you can't fucking expect that. And betting, it's just going to kick you right in the knackers. But Bronson, we kind of discussed it. This is actually a little bit of a treat here because we had literally just recorded on Thursday, and then now we're recording again a couple days later. But let's get your takes here a little bit about the playoff matchups that we still got coming, and then give me kind of like your Super Bowl champ, who you got going there. But just go kind of like the matchups today, and then who you got from there.
Sure. As a Bears fan, it pains me to say this, but boy, was I wrong about Jordan Love. He looks really good, man. He looks really, really good. I think you guys found another stud. Tonight, though, against the 49ers, that's tough. That's going to be tough.
They got our card, man. There's been a ton of NFC playoff championships we've lost to them.
If it was at Green Bay, maybe I'll give you guys a chance.
The edge. Yeah.
But, the line, we were talking about it, the line was 10.5. I think that's a little too much in playoff football.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
I'm all over that, yeah.
But I think the Packers will cover, but the Niners will win.
Gotcha. Okay.
To win the thing, I had Dallas in the Super Bowl. I did.
You had them boys in the Super Bowl?
I thought this would be the year because Dak was playing so good. Mm-hmm. Now, honestly, it would be such a rite passageway when Josh Allen finally gets over the hurdle of beating Patrick Mahomes to go to the Super Bowl.
I'm kind of on the same. I'm in the agreement that if Buffalo wins convincingly, I think it's Buffalo's year. I just think that's
and they're at home.
That's where
right?
I'm at.
Hosting KC.
They're at home first, which I don't know how the weather is going to be
it's
so
supposed
much.
to snow. Yeah.
But even so, I mean, KC's used to the snow. It's not like that Miami KC game where Miami was clearly affected by not only the pass rush of of Kansas City. Miami was affected by Kansas City, but then also the weather. You could just see guys not exploding. Tyreek Hill was, subdued pretty well there. But I don't look at it as the weather going to play too much of a factor in that game. I'm on the Buffalo train for 1 year, and then after that, sell it, tear that place down, put it into a
parking lot.
Yeah, it's weird though because they're saying that all like their Buffalo's defense is depleted, so. If they can escape a win against Patrick Mahomes, sure, they got to go to Baltimore. But, I mean, Josh Allen could definitely do it.
Yeah, I'm really, as Baltimore as the number one, I'm not sold on them. I think they had a pretty weak AFC North division that allowed them to kind of get to that 13-3 or 4 or whatever they were. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sold on Baltimore. I think I'm not a fan of Lamar Jackson in the fact that I don't think that he's getting a lot of hype as like a quarterback that wins, and that's obviously the basic metric, right? But in terms of what I look at as like an elite quarterback, Lamar Jackson to me has not shown that. Now, if he wins this Super Bowl by game management, running what he needs to, throwing the ball well, that's kind of gonna definitely change my tune. But like until he's done that, everybody is really sucking him off about, hey, Lamar Jackson is all this accolades and, most rushing yards. And I'm like, but he's a quarterback. Yeah. So that's what I want to see. I want to see some quarterbacking, and then I can really give him, I'll give him the nod. Yeah. And that's what every, professional quarterback wants is the Woj nod. That says
that
you are good in my
That
book.
solidifies them in their career.
They want a thumbs up from you.
Yeah. No, but could we agree that I think right now Baltimore has a lot of assets around him? So even being as good of a quarterback as he is, he has a lot of avenues to, I guess, rely on. I mean, their defense has been exceptional throughout the year. They got a good run game.
I mean, but like wide receivers, you got a washed up OBJ.
Okay,
and
but likely came out of nowhere and he was doing
right,
great. And then you have Zay Flowers.
I'll give you Zay Flowers for sure.
Okay,
but
you'll
just
give
saying,
me him. Okay,
a healthy Mark Andrews.
If Mark Andrews is back, your argument becomes a little bit more valid. But like for right now, I'm just saying that again. If Houston somehow starts slinging the ball, Baltimore's down. You can't run the ball, for a whole half of football. You're going to need to pass it. That's where Lamar Jackson for me is that if he starts to be passing it like an elite quarterback, getting his team back, like that's also the thing that I look at these number one teams. They haven't really been down. Like there's no real comeback wins for Baltimore this year. They've either been up the entire time or like they've lost really, I want to say it's probably like a couple one-score losses probably or their majority of their losses here. But flipping it over, though, so you got the Miami, Buffalo, and then what's the other game tomorrow? Detroit. Detroit.
See, Detroit's making a lot of noise.
Who's Detroit playing?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. I mean, I kind of said in the last one that, maybe Tampa Bay could be a dark horse, but what you got?
If it's a low-scoring game, Tampa might escape. If it's an absolute, just shootout, I don't think any team can keep up with the Lions.
No, Detroit,
that offense is unreal.
Detroit's looking real good at the right time because there was a lull in the weeks 14 maybe through 17. Where
can we call out the fact that Divisional the first playoff round against the Rams, they had 3 touchdowns in the first half, right? And solid touchdowns. After that, 3 points.
Okay.
So I guess for me, I don't put a lot of credit on what Goff could do for them. I don't put a lot of credit on what Goff could do for them, but I think that the run game with was it Gibbs, and Montgomery really give them an opportunity to carry the load because I just don't trust Goff with the ball. If you're down by 10 points and Goff, please bring us back. I don't know. It ain't happening.
I'm gonna add on to that just a little bit here. Is that Jared Goff for me is a guy that has extremely poor ball security in terms of when he gets sacked. He cannot hold on to the ball, and there's a couple games that they absolutely lost because his ball security was an issue. That is definitely, oh my God.
A return, punt, touchdown. Is that special teams or defense?
That's defense, special teams. Did you have Houston or Baltimore?
I had Houston.
That should be money.
Woo!
I mean that.
I thought it was a pick six.
No, it's a touchdown by their defense.
Touchdown is
defense.
Punt is
still defense,
special
right?
team. Unless I don't know. I would check that.
I'll have to check.
Definitely check that and get back to us on the field.
On the field.
You guys remember that? It's Always Sunny with Mac and the camera. He's like, oh, I'm sweating so much.
This might be a sneaky win for Houston.
I mean, I will say right there, this type of play.
I gotta check now.
This is how those teams get those sneak wins. Is you get a defensive touchdown here or there. It's a pretty that I love that though, just for the simple fact that that this game now is going to be competitive.
Oh yeah, because
now it's tie game. Baltimore is going to come down. Houston may even get the ball back again, depending on how shitty Baltimore's offense is. So I love that. That just makes the game just that much more interesting here. So, Barbarino, we are going to do this next segment here. I'm going to have you kind of introduce it. I'm assuming it hasn't paid out yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
So
give it a couple minutes.
Give it a minute. Yeah.
But yeah, so introduce the segment here that we're gonna kind of cut to in just a couple seconds here. So give us a nice little intro.
All right. So we kind of teased this when we were at a away game back here. So it's cocktail
I think actually
hour.
Right here.
What we're gonna go over is I'm gonna describe the ingredients. I'm gonna make a CC Manhattan. I'm gonna describe what I put into it, and then Bronson's got a drink for us too. You want to tell us about your drink and kind of the components, and then I'll tell you.
No. Let's hold off on the components. Just get the name of it, and
Yeah.
then
Name
we'll
of the
kind of
drink.
go with the
It's
film of it.
called a green tea shot.
Green tea shot. Oh yeah. I've had those. I
So
don't-
there's a little bit of whiskey in it, schnapps.
It's whiskey, huh?
You don't even taste it.
Interesting. I think I'm gonna probably do a tequila sunrise if that works out. If I don't have a tequila sunrise,
Oh,
I'm
we got that.
old fashioned is always one that I'm like, I do like it. It does unfortunately have a couple of ingredients that if you like there's an orange peel, like if you don't
yeah, I
have
don't have fresh
oranges and
oranges.
stuff
So
like
they
that.
have cinnamon sticks in them too?
It can.
Okay.
I've seen some of those with it, but I mean, old fashioned is a nice one. But I really think that again, this is going to be more of a staple of something that we could easily do. Of like, hey, we're doing a
our
little bit of
listeners,
you know,
throwing
quick
together some cocktails.
Bobby's cocktail hour.
Yeah, you guys keep giving me the business. Keep giving me the business because I say cocktail and I.
He enunciates the cock.
Oh,
Doesn't forget about the tail.
All right. So
always.
we're gonna switch it over to then, and then you guys are gonna be coming right back here for some more fantasy football journeyman in just a second. Stay tuned.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. You don't need your.
Bronson, you are recording, sir.
All right, so we're going to make a green tea shot.
Great intro.
Got a little bit of whiskey.
How much whiskey?
We got about a half ounce. We'll pour that puppy in. Got peach schnapps.
How much peach schnapps?
Half ounce. Sorry. We'll pour that in. And then we got some sweet and sour mix. Half ounce.
Oh, that's great camera work by me. Sorry. And this is the green tea shot, right?
Save the soda for after that.
Shake it up.
Where's she?
Good to go.
Top off with a little bit of Sprite if you want. Oh, looks good.
Then add a little club soda, 7-Up, Sprite.
Okay.
Sweet soda.
Now, do you think that the bars actually do this, or do they just fucking throw like a little bit of green tea and vodka together and go, "This is a green tea shot"?
I truly think that they do this, and not just
Okay.
not go get your citrus green tea, throw
Right.
it together.
All right.
Go.
All right. Here we are.
Cheers, gents.
Cheers. Oh my God.
Thoughts?
Not bad at
That
all.
was
It's like
delicious.
green tea. Oh my God.
All right, Bronson. 10 out of 10, man. Great cocktail. Next one up, Barbarino.
Welcome. This is Bobby. I'm going to put together CC Manhattan. You could use better whiskey. I'm using cheap whiskey, but I like, it's a good blend, whiskey. So we're going to start off. It's 1.5 ounce of whiskey. To the top. I'm going to make it bold. There we go. Then from there, we do... You could go anywhere between 1 to 1, I guess 3/4 to 1 of sweet vermouth. I'm going to just go closer to 1. Okay. We'll do a little bit of orange bitters. And blood orange for this one. We're going to give it the old shake and pour. And I always add, I guess for when you're using a glass or martini, you could add a little bit of grenadine or drop in a maraschino cherry or a twist of orange on the top. That really classes it up. But I'm going to serve it as shots. So good luck, boys. This is going to hit like a ton of bricks.
A little bit of color.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it adds a little bit to add that garnish. Mix it up here. And other people might want to add a little bit of ginger ale if you want, just a touch of that for some bubbles, you know. Mm-hmm. Totally depends on the person, but dress it up, dress it down, do what you will with it. Top everyone else off.
All right.
Alright, and for those who want a little grenadine,
Yeah, hit me with a little bit of that.
hit it with the grenadine. You don't want to add too much, just a touch. Oh, I went a little heavy on that one. That'll be mine. Alright, and there is your CC Manhattan in fun little shot glasses.
All right, L'Chaim.
Alright, there it is. Let's go.
Yeah, you weren't kidding.
Oh, it's going to hit like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, when it's a stronger one. All right, next one up. El Logenstein.
Alright, you want to walk us in there?
So we got a Rob Roy coming at you. You can pan down here. So we got a 1.5. What is it? An ounce? These are ounces.
That's 1.5.
1.5 ounces of Scotch.
That's straight from Scotland, too. Thank you, Dad.
A little shout out there. Into the cup. Then we got the 3/4 an ounce of the sweet vermouth. Let's just do that up. Little bitskis. Okay, that was 3/4 exactly. There we
Perfect.
go. And then we are going to throw in a little quick dash of bitters, just like that. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Looks good.
Good. Bobby is the resident mixologist here. I'm just an asshole.
And he's got the maraschino cherries on the ready.
And we're doing this right.
Yeah.
That's how they're bartending. There we go. Alright, this should be good. See how it comes out. Looks pretty good.
This is going to hit like a ton of bricks too, guys. Just a heads up.
Well, we did just do 3 shots in a row, so it's going to be great. Okay.
And you could skip the maraschino cherry for me.
Okay. I'm just going to do a quick one. Bronson.
Sure.
My muscles up. He's reverting to the... There it is.
The old shirt technique. Alright.
Love a little decor.
Oh.
That's yours. Now, keep in mind, these will be in cocktail glasses or martini glasses, so
Alright.
we're just really...
So, Ballerino, that is yours.
Excellent.
Bronson, yours. And this is mine. Cheers, gents. Give me something.
Clink. There we go.
Alright, here we go.
That's smooth scotch, though.
That's what saves it. But this has been the cocktail hour. Stay tuned for more cocktail hours.
I hope you guys enjoyed our cocktail hour.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, anybody who comments, who you thought was the best, maybe looked the best, maybe just your favorite one, whatever.
Yeah, give us some suggestions. We could throw it together in our next little segment if we have a continuation of this. But I really want to change gears here, call an audible, and talk about Packers San Fran. Yeah, red.
Hot route.
Hot route. Come over here.
Okay, so Packers San Fran.
All right, historically, they've had our number. I think I probably commented to that earlier in the podcast, but with Love playing the way he's been playing defensively, Green Bay has stepped up. We've had a lot of turnovers. I'm optimistic, but I'm hopefully optimistic, so I think that's the best way to describe it. If Aaron Jones could carve it up a little bit on the run game, we have a chance. If we could just mitigate turnovers, we have a real chance, because the same Baltimore we're watching right now put a hurt on San Fran, and they've had that lull in the middle of the season. They lost to a couple weaker teams, so
They had a 3-game losing streak, but
it's possible. Like I said, I'm not trying to use previous to dictate future, but they're not perfect. I mean, we could get under the armor. We just got to keep. I guess we got to keep our pedal to the metal like the entire game.
Well, that's obviously that's a staple of playoff football is that you really have to. You cannot let up. You really have to be like, hey, we are scoring every single chance that we have until the game is over, and then you basically can run out the clock mathematically. I would just think that the to me the X factor for Green Bay, Woj's X factor coming at you.
Graphics.
Yeah. We should just do that. Should just say graphics. My real X factor is the routes that the Green Bay and specifically Romeo Doubs he had a huge game and that
over 100
wild card
yards
win. He had like 150 something.
Yeah.
His route running though was so good on the second kind of leg of the route, which what I mean is that like it looks like he's kind of maybe running like a slant route or whatever, or maybe a go route, and then he does like a quick fake. He's going completely horizontal then, and he is literally like wide open. Like he happened a couple times there, but like those happen on those double routes where you kind of set up the cornerback in single coverage and then you tear away. If Jordan Love can keep hitting those guys, they got a real shot. But my real concern, though, is that 49ers defense is rested for a week. Some teams, in my mind, when you get that rest, you're just like a little lackadaisical. I have just seen San Fran, like in the way that their offense runs, like if they get McCaffrey just running, it's a quick over, like it's over and done in my mind. That if McCaffrey can have his 120-yard day, touchdown, couple catches, it's really hard to stop San Fran's offense enough because you know that they're going to score. That's just the fact of it. They are going to score. But Bronson, what's your take on the Green Bay San Fran kind of game?
To be fair,
Green
Bay's defense against the run has been doing really well.
Yeah, they have.
They got Kenny Clark.
They stopped Tony Pollard. They stopped,
So can I just interject real quick because you brought up Tony Pollard?
Sure.
One of these, man. How about that?
He burned you in fantasy, didn't you?
Dude, I thought he was poised for a huge year, and
a lot of people did.
He ate a bag of dicks. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, that's
it's my personal opinion.
He didn't live up to par. Yeah, I would say my biggest thing is just if Green Bay could stop Christian McCaffrey on the run and not have Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan do the play action offense that they're normally doing, then Green Bay has a shot.
Yeah, we got to be very decisive in what we do defensively. We can't change pace. We got to keep the pressure on. But one thing I would like to do is disrupt Purdy, get some penetration A gap, because if you throw him out and move him outside the pocket, it's going to throw off his timing a little bit, maybe force him to create a faster pass. And when those mistakes happen, that's when you have a guy like Alexander, who I hope is a healthy Jair. He'll capitalize, jump the route, and see what we could do.
Yeah, so kind of actually pumping off that. I think that the way that Green Bay's defense is set up is perfect for any team to play against any team. With the defensive pass rush that they can accumulate or run stopping, getting them into longer third downs. You have great corners, great secondary. I really think that if there's a couple turnovers, that's going to sway this game so much more just because Brock Purdy is very susceptible to turning the ball over. Mm-hmm. And when he's done it a bunch because this is my one thing, and it's not to really hate on Brock Purdy, but it's going to kind of sound like that, is that, I mean, there's kind of a reason that he's only being paid $500K a year right now. You're a 7th-round pick.
Well, he's still a rookie. He's still on his rookie contract.
No, but what I'm saying, though, is that sometimes if I believe this is his 3rd year, maybe right around then, right?
Yeah, about
he's not
third.
Like a
no,
second
I think
year.
It's about 3rd year, yeah.
His 3rd year, 4th year at least, right?
Okay.
At this point, though, usually if you've made, like they have made the decision since last year, like Brock Purdy is the guy, right? Mm-hmm. You are the guy, gave him all the reps this year. Mm-hmm. You would think that going into this offseason, and again, it could still happen, but like going into this offseason, I could easily see San Fran going like, you know what, we're gonna do another year of like you gotta prove like a prove it deal kind of thing. Which, again, I look at it like that's probably what you need to do because I don't see Brock Purdy as the guy that like take another quarterback, insert them into the offense. I think you have pretty much the same results. It's not like Brock Purdy is killing it,
That's a good point because a lot of it does have to do with Shanahan's offense. I do agree.
This chick is praying right now.
That's C.J. Stroud's mom.
I mean, she's praying on national television.
Well, he's very Christian. I actually support that. They cut off a lot of his media coverage of him, bringing
the post-game interview.
Yeah, post-game interview. It a little irks me, but,
I thought he was hurt. That's why she was praying, but it was just a second
just
down.
a weird
Okay.
day and age that we live in.
I know. Go figure.
All right, moving on from there. We're not trying to start a religious
No,
war
we're
here,
not.
so
We're not. I like his I like his attitude. I think his attitude really helps Houston's chances. So
okay. So I mean, I think we did we kind of cover the whole San Fran.
Can I get one? Yeah, not on the San Fran. I want to flip the script a little bit to the Tampa. Anyone thoughts real quick? Just quick shout out Cannon Baker Mayfield. Thoughts?
Baker Mayfield can be the dude if he throws to the weapons that he has. He has prime time weapons, and the games that he went on a streak there for like 3 or 4 games with 300 plus yards and a couple touchdowns every game. He does that. I'm actually scared of the Tampa offense. The problem with that though is that those times that he's had to throw for 300, it's because his defense has just let up a bunch of stuff. Like their defensive effort against Philly was like, it's not super uncommon, but during the regular season, they weren't doing that to a lot of good teams. Mm-hmm. So that's, if they're doing that, if he's out there slinging the ball, which I like that. I mentioned it on the other podcast of like, I want to see Justin Fields get that green light to just be like, hey man, open it up. That's what I think is missing from that Bears offense here. But Bronson, let's get your take though on the Baker Mayfield. What's your kind of opinion of him right now?
Isn't it fun to see him come back? Right?
Yes, loving his redemption arc.
It's what he bounced around to 2-3 teams and then found a home in Tampa. We'll see. I mean, it's a tough road test against the Lions.
Wait, where did he get drafted?
Cleveland.
And then he moved
Carolina, and then the Rams, and now he's at Tampa.
Oh, he's at Carolina. I didn't know that stopover. Okay, so it's a good story arc, right? But do you think he can be the guy?
Mike Evans better catch. He's been dropping a few passes lately. That's if he keeps doing that, they're gonna be in trouble.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy and say that history does repeat itself, but look at what they did in Cleveland. They put OBJ, Jarvis, Amari Cooper, Njoku.
Was Amari Cooper there with those other guys?
No, he came in later.
He might have been right after those guys. But
how long?
No,
I thought Amari was there for like 5 years.
No. The past like maybe 2.
Amari was in Dallas and just then. But though the other guys that you mentioned, OBJ and
Jarvis,
that was a solid wide receiver core.
Yeah, I mean they had a couple. They even brought Josh Gordon in. I mean, it is Josh Gordon. Don't get me wrong,
guy.
but
what a talent that just okay, whatever. Oh, we hit a sore spot again.
No, fuck that guy. God. Stop smoking weed. How hard is it?
Isn't that the other running back? Was it Ricky Henderson who had the same?
Williams,
sorry, who had that same situation? Could be a real hell of an athlete, but
sorry, dude. I have no sympathy for NFL play. You keep getting suspended for smoking weed. You're getting paid. He could have got paid like $15 million a year.
He was,
and instead he's like, nah, man. I just want to smoke weed. It's like, what's wrong with you, dude? I know you're watching right now, But,
we have all these NFL stars watching.
But Baker had a really good defense in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And they made it to the playoffs, and they just stopped.
Yeah, I will say that he's been set up very well in his thing. So he's been set up for success. I think this is the time though. This is really the make it or break it because if he ends up shitting the bed, let's say, and Detroit just steamrolls them. I could easily see Tampa Bay being like, well, now we need a quarterback because he's not the guy, which I hate that a little bit in the fact that, I think, almost in every position, every coaching position, every actual field position, you really need about 2 years in the system to be evaluated fully to say, this guy's got it or he doesn't. And Baker, this is his first year, I think, at the helm, right, of Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think he needs another year, though, before they really make that decision of hey, we're going to sign you to an extension or get the fuck out, we're going to draft a quarterback.
Well, who are their backups?
Kyle Trask.
And he just got drafted, didn't he?
Well, Trask was, they were saying this just because I caught it on the broadcast, that they were fighting for the first string. In training camp, Baker beat him out, so Trask is the backup. But Trask hasn't seen a lick of the field because they literally have not
Yeah.
blown anybody out or been down by so much. So, I just think that Baker, the jury is still out. I want him to be. There we go, my man.
It's
Big
a
pass,
good
all right.
story. I like it, and
Yes.
I hope he does well.
He has
It's
a winning
just-
attitude. He goes out there and you could see it in his eyes. Does he make mistakes? Yes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't deter him. You see the fire in his eyes, and that's what I saw in the first playoff round. Like he was hungry. He was hungry.
He gets amped up. That's the one thing
You
that I'll
need that on
say
your team.
about the style of play, like just the attitude, is that you cannot deny that Baker Mayfield is ready to go.
Yeah,
He's
got
amped up.
love for the game.
Love for the game. Dude, we may need to make like a segment like that, a love for the game type of guy or some shit like that. There
Another
you go, Nico.
graphic.
Nico
Another
can-
love of the graphic.
There we go. All right, so Bronson, we do have you on here though, so we
Yep, we
definitely
need that.
gotta get your Bears take. Where are we at right now? Season's over.
You see, I was
Give me-
listening.
Sorry. Let me just clarify. Give me the whole breakdown. So give me a
Yeah.
Justin Fields, obviously coaching, draft pick. Hit those three topics, and I'm just gonna sit
I'm
here
curious.
drinking a beer.
Sure. Just being in all like the news, seeing all the OCs that we've interviewed. What was it? Eight coaches?
Yeah, something like that. None of which, sorry, just to interject, none of which are Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh.
As an OC though.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
But
those guys are
want
not
the head
just
coach.
OC.
We have Eberflus. I mean, whether I like it or you like it, or we have them.
They've committed
does.
to it at least right now.
Yeah.
But is Eberflus going to be the starting week 1 head coach? Jury's still out. I don't know about that.
Okay.
So, but
That's
sorry
good.
to
No,
interject. Go ahead.
That's
Go
a
ahead.
good point. Good point. But seeing some of the guys that we've interviewed, it was like a Cliff Kingsbury, a Clint Kubiak, which is Gary Kubiak's son.
Yeah.
He's a passing coordinator for the 49ers.
A couple of the guys I saw. Head coach, passing game coordinator,
like
not head coach.
couple young
offensive
guys.
coordinators. Some I think a college guy here or there.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
so
good,
what's-
it's good to see. I
Okay.
just don't know. Right now, like the hype is that we're gonna get Cliff Kingsbury because he coached Caleb Williams. That we're gonna draft Caleb, and I was like, let's hopefully
I like that.
we'll pump the brake on that. I was listening to the score.
670 the score. Shout out.
Yeah, last night,
Yeah.
and they had a guy on there who worked the Pac-12. I think his name is Jim or Jeff. Sorry for the mix-up.
We
His
don't-
last name was Schwartz.
We don't fact check.
Jim Schwartz,
Oh, that sounds
defensive
that's-
coordinator, right?
No, he works for the Pac-12. So he followed Caleb Williams throughout this whole this past
Okay,
year.
okay.
Yeah, we don't fact check here. but-
Yeah, and so the host asked him. He was like, "Can you tell Bears fans that why we need to believe in Caleb Williams?" One of the first things he said, because Caleb Williams won the Heisman 2 years ago, and now like he had a kind of a decline year. And one of the first things the guy said was, "Oh, well, their offensive line wasn't that good." And I go, "Well, hold on. If you're gonna bring a guy in here that says that the offensive line isn't that good, which our offensive line isn't that good,
No.
I think Fields is faster. I think Fields has a better arm. Could Caleb make some magical plays? Sure. Is he a better thrower? Probably. But, I mean, I don't know. It's tough right now, and that's why those guys up there in the front office are getting paid the big bucks to make those decisions, and we're sitting here. So
Sometimes that they don't make the right decisions. So I'm going to also apply on Indeed for Bears GM. So
Go. You know what? Go
get
for
that.
it. Throw your hat in the ring.
So, you brought up though that I think this is the thing that we do run into a lot in just again the fact that we're a couple of assholes talking about football is
Yeah.
that it's a coulda, woulda, shoulda type of thing.
Yeah.
Is that like supplant Caleb Williams into that Bears offense like this year upcoming? I don't know if him
No.
or Justin Fields at this
Yeah.
point has a better year.
So going off of that,
Okay.
I looked up some statistics. Caleb Williams averages less than 3.1 or 3.2 seconds of throwing the ball.
Good. Okay.
Justin Fields is 3.1. They're right around the same.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you take a guy that's just learning and just becoming and putting him into the league where it's faster, bigger, stronger, I mean, versus a guy that's been there for 3-4 years that knows what it takes to run around with your head cut off, I mean, it's tough.
That is
it's a tough
absolutely
decision.
that's a fantastic point though. Is that again? I definitely look at and I've been preaching it on the podcast for a long time now. Is that I like the fact of like not just throwing a rookie to the wolves and saying, "Hey, here you go, it's your team right here." C.J. Stroud is the perfect example of how that worked out in their favor.
But you got to realize that Houston has had a great offensive line.
Well, Laramie Tunsil's good.
They were building around it, so they just needed a guy.
I totally get that, but I'm just throwing it out there though that again you bring up to the point that if you put Caleb Williams in this offense and he does bad, then all these Bear fans are going to be like, well, why did this happen? It's like, well, you're a rookie quarterback coming out.
Guys, let's just put this out there. You can never satisfy a Bears fan. There's always going to be something to complain about. You guys are one of the worst, though.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Excuse you.
Oh, my God.
Excuse you.
My. Exactly. Here we go.
Okay,
Here
stop.
we go.
Stop. Let's call it like it is because we all know this. Bears, Packers fans, and everybody else. Dallas, Philly, top 2 worst fan bases.
Sure.
Easy peasy. Okay.
I'm saying you guys complain the most. They're the most aggressive or cry the most, but you guys complain the most.
So, Bobby, I think what you're really kind of commenting on though is the fact that honestly,
we want better for our team.
Well, no, I think what it really is though, dude, is that the Bears have been bad now for a long time. We're coming up on 20 years almost of just mediocre football.
I think it's 40, but yeah.
Well, no, because we went to the Super Bowl and fucking.
Oh, right. And what happened that first play of the Super Bowl?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, Devin has to return one.
Yeah, returned one. So you're already up 7-0, and you.
We were playing Peyton fucking Manning.
We faced you guys in the 2012 NFC Championship. I mean, we've been there. We just haven't knocked the door down.
But all I was saying though about that is just that again, there's a lot of whining in the Bears fandom because we're at a point where we're just like, give us something to be excited about.
Yeah.
And like we've had it now a couple times, especially in the last 7 years, where we've had rookie quarterbacks come in and we're like, this could be the guy, and then he doesn't seem to be it.
I think I was going to make another point saying that I think it started to regress as Bears fans when we drafted Mitch Trubisky instead of
that was painful
Watson
to watch. That was so
or
painful.
Lamar or Patrick Mahomes.
Jeremy, shout out. Mitchie.
Yeah,
I've watched the other podcast.
No, you're well versed in Jeremy's.
He's a huge Mitch fan, and I was too. Don't get me wrong. I played him every single week on my fantasy team, hoping he would throw touchdowns. But that's as a Bears fan, it just went downhill.
Right. So you have not necessarily no trust, but the trust factor is not there. And hey, when we draft somebody new, because you have 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
In the first 10, in the first round, you have first 2 in the first 10. There you go. Words are hard. So I think at this point, you are going to see the Bears either draft a quarterback or trade back. There is no kind of middle ground. I see.
I have a question for you. Do you think that since that draft class of Lamar, Patrick, Deshaun Watson, you could throw him in there. He was great on Houston. Do you think ever since that we haven't hit that key guy? I mean, you guys are striking gold on Love so far. You know, it's hard for us.
Still out on Love.
Is it so easy for Bears fans to say, all right, let's get rid of the guy after 2 years?
I have a question for all you.
Hold on.
Okay.
He just asked a question.
Yes,
you can't say,
all right,
I'm going to ask a question back.
Question to a question. But go ahead. No. Go ahead.
Yes, what you're saying is that there is...
Don't you think it's really easy for fans to say, all right, let's get rid of this guy, even though there might just be 1 or 2 missing pieces?
So I think you're really calling out a lot of the fans, which I can gladly call out here, is that it's just the uneducated fans. There's a lot of people that come in and be like, well, you got to get rid of this guy after 1 year. It's like, well, you have no idea of like what goes into this because you need a couple years. Again, head coach, first, rookie player, whatever. You need a couple years to get your feet under you. That's why there's literally a rookie contract, so that you have to basically keep them for, usually it's about 3 years. Well, I'm saying the 5th year, you have the 5th year contract, but usually by the 3rd year, hey, we're keeping this guy or not. Yeah. So I think that's calling out, though, many of the, just in the general NFL, there's a lot of fans that just say, well, you need to cut this guy, you need to do this. And that knee-jerk reaction many of the times is incorrect.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you had it in the Packers, fan base of people saying, "Get Jordan Love out of here. He's not doing it." Earlier on in the season.
Earlier, but prior to week 11, I was very frustrated, very upset with how things were moving. Now, one thing that I was going to say is like a question to a question is, how often were Bears quarterbacks given the chance to have a tenure where they didn't start? So, for example, Love sat on the bench for 2 years before he ever stepped foot on the field, like as the starter,
and got to sit behind Aaron Rodgers,
right? And you get to sit behind some, star-studded cast. But even take the star-studdedness away. But imagine, if you will, Caleb Williams or Caleb. You guys draft him, and he sits behind Fields for a year and a half, kind of learning the game, learning the speed of things, and then letting him loose.
Yeah.
I always thought about, like, why not give that opportunity to someone who clearly has, I think, a lot of talent, but, it's really tough to just throw someone, like you said, C.J. Stroud, this is a kind of a miracle. Just throw him in with the big fishes and say good luck.
It's a good point, but I think that Fields is on his last year of his contract.
But even a year underneath would be
third year.
So we have to pick up. We have to pick up his 5th-year option.
Going into the 4th year, I don't know exactly when the contract is going to happen, but this is kind of what I was just mentioning, though, is that like going into the 3rd year. So this is the 3rd year that has just been completed. So going into the 4th year is when the contract negotiation is starting to come up. Whether
he's
it happens,
going to want to get his money. Yeah.
I think what technically happens, Bronson, is that they have until the end of the free agency period or the signing period after next year.
Okay.
That's when they have to say, we are picking up your 5th-year option. That's at that point, going to happen. So I like that strategy,
it's
Bobby.
It's not bad.
But
I just always thought if you guys,
but there is a
someone
guy,
chance.
Marvin Harrison Jr., floating around.
Let's finish just real quick on that. No, it's all good. These are great things to talk about here. But for the that type of strategy of having, I really want to have that happen. I want to draft a rookie, bring him in. I think that somebody else at some point told me, though, that like you do start to have a problem with confidence then, because you're basically telling Justin Fields without telling him that, like, hey, here is your replacement. So I think that could cause some frustration with Justin Fields, understandably so. But thinking of that, okay, switching back to what you had just said.
So it's a good point that drafting Caleb Williams. I think they.
Marvin Harrison. Marvin
Harrison.
Yeah.
Because it's. Don't get me wrong, okay? Like, Marvin Harrison kind of reminds me of a Calvin Johnson. Big, fast, can catch anything.
Okay.
Megatron, I think, had like 40 pounds on him.
I was just going to say, Megatron was
fun.
Bigger, but Marvin is fast. And
so he's like his daddy.
Well, I really think that, again, if you're not going to get Marvin Harrison Jr., get another wide receiver, though. There's a couple in this
Washington Oduze.
There absolutely.
That's a good player.
There's a couple in this draft class that I think they could be real game changers, and I also then just kind of throw out, as we're going to kind of wrap up, kind of final comments here, is that like I think that you put anybody into that position at quarterback, really, whether it's a rookie, whether it's Justin Fields, I don't think there's any situation in which you trade for somebody's current quarterback, but even anybody in there, you give them Marvin Harrison Jr. and DJ Moore and Cole Kmet coming up pretty well.
Yeah,
I think that's a solid wide receiver catching core that you will kind of see dividends here. But Bronson, did you kind of say you're kind of Super Bowl champion who you're kind of rooting for here?
Well, I mean, to go back on that, I mean, like, if Allen can knock down Patrick Mahomes,
okay,
I think
you're on the Buffalo train. Okay,
Buffalo train. Bobby, I think you and I are still on or you're on.
I
Green
want Green Bay to
go
the distance, but if they don't, I want Houston.
Bobby, are you going to get a tattoo of Green Bay on your chest?
I've actually seen them win a Super Bowl in my lifetime. I don't think I don't need to do that. Oh, it's in the back room. I don't want to. We're already champs. It's not great to rub
Well, we're
it
talking
in.
about fantasy football champs there, and then Super Bowl champs.
As an owner, and my team winning, yes, I was around for my team to win. Were you around when your team won?
As an owner.
No, yeah,
this fucking guy says.
I'll go pull that.
Yeah,
piece
go
of
pull
paper.
that piece of paper that cost you like $40.
It was more than that.
Oh Jesus Christ!
It was over $200.
Fine print from the Rockefeller age.
Jesus Christ!
They got the stamp and everything.
All right. So from the the owner of Green Bay over here,
There's your guy.
and a couple of diehard
yeah.
Bears fans here.
Jordan Love's on the screen.
This was a fun time. You know, Bronson, we got to get you back on the podcast, man. You got a good insight on the Bears. You've just been a fan your whole life, so that's definitely helpful.
Loved
there.
his input. A lot of good insight.
You know, so again, we'll get you back on the pod. We'll definitely do a couple other of these, but you know, Bobby, I'm going to toss it over to you to sign us out here on episode 18.
All right, let's all nod our head in prayer that Green Bay upsets San Fran. But in the event that doesn't happen, I hope everyone has a safe, fun Super Bowl time. I'll be in Florida in the next 24 hours, so enjoy the freezing weather.
Yeah, it's going to be cold as dick, but hey, have fun in Florida, dude.
Yeah,
have
we'll
fun.
do.
All right. Holla at you later.
All right.
Peace.
See you guys.
See you guys.